If you are new to the Metal Gear Solid games, the story can seem pretty daunting when attempting to understand it. As huge fans of the MGS franchise, we thought we would take a stab at summarising the entire timeline for you as quickly as possible. So let's get into it. In 1918, America, China and Russia established a secretive group called the Philosophers. Across the years, they would come to control the world from the shadows, as they pooled their resources into something called the Philosopher's Legacy, which is something that lists the identities of all the philosophers and provides access to $100 billion. Unfortunately for them, by the beginning of the events of MGS3, Snake Eater, they had become fractured. None of the three superpowers trusted each other anymore. Now onto the game itself, starting chronologically with Metal Gear Solid 3, which is set in 1964. An American operative named Naked Snake goes to the Soviet Union, tasked with saving Sokolov, a weapons scientist. The operation, called the Virtuous Mission, ends in failure because of America's best soldier, a woman known as the Boss. She went to the Soviet Union on a top-secret CIA mission, however, she defected, providing Russian Colonel Volgin with Davy Crockett nuclear missiles. She secures Sokolov for Volgin, and he launches the missiles at the scientist's research center, causing numerous civilian casualties. Now Volgin, using the legacy his father stole, aims to take over the world using a powerful weapon called the Shagohod. After Snake barely manages to escape with his life, he's sent back to the Soviet Union again to kill his former mentor, the Boss. If he fails, Russian leader Khrushchev vows to declare nuclear war as revenge for the Boss and Volgin's nuclear attack. Throughout the new mission, dubbed Operation Snake Eater, Snake coordinates with Major Zero, who provides situational intel. Additionally, Snake often runs into KGB operative named Ocelot. The Russian has a thing for westerns, only bolstered by Snake telling him to use revolvers because they jam less. More often than not though, Ocelot becomes a punching bag for both Snake and Volgin throughout the game. Snake sets out to slay Volgin and destroy the Shagohod, as they're both in the way of his true mission, killing the Boss. Then, in a student becomes the master type confrontation, Snake engages his mentor in hand-to-hand combat, after which a lot of exposition gets dumped on the player. On her top-secret CIA mission, the Boss was actually meant to defect to Russia in order to secure the legacy. However, the nuclear attack courtesy of the Davy Crockett missiles escalated tensions between America and Russia. This then led to Snake's current mission, which makes him clean up the Boss's mess. To maintain the cover story, he must kill her, even if begrudgingly so. He returns home a hero and awarded the title of Big Boss. He mourns the loss of his mentor, who was forced to die because of the CIA's crusade for the legacy. It's revealed later that Ocelot actually worked for the CIA, and he obtained half the legacy before Volgin passed. After Snake Eater, Big Boss and Zero team up with Ocelot to form a group called the Patriots. Using Ocelot's access to the legacy, Zero led a reorganization of the Philosophers, focusing on unifying the entire world in the name of Big Boss. Big Boss in particular refused to work with the CIA anymore because of how it treated his mentor in the Soviet Union. Over time, Zero spread rumors that really grew the legend of Big Boss, making him a larger-than-life hero. Big Boss grew to resent the treatment, and the two former friends grew further and further apart in their interpretations of the Boss's will. Zero thought ironclad control over all people was the only way to unify the world. Meanwhile, Big Boss believed his mentor just wanted a world where soldiers would be seen as more than tools. Everything came to a head when Zero started the L'Enfants Terribles project, which is where he took DNA from Big Boss and created clones of him. 2 clones went on to become Solid Snake and Liquid Snake, and a perfect third clone named Solidus was created down the line. Upon learning about the project, Big Boss left the Patriots, angry at his former friend for using his reputation and DNA in such a way. He starts his own military force called some French words, which I'm going to abbreviate to MSF, which is French for Military Without Borders, in hopes to provide help to those in need, regardless of ideologies. In Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Big Boss establishes the base of operations for the MSF with the help of his second-in-command, Kazura Miller. Big Boss calls this location off the coast of Costa Rica Mother Base. A rogue CIA group has taken over the nearby nation and installed a nuclear deterrent, the eponymous Peace Walker. Big Boss and MSF eventually destroy Peace Walker with the help of a child soldier named Chico. Then MSF starts building its own nuclear deterrent called Metal Gear Zeke, thanks to the help of some scientists. But in a turn of events, a Patriot's agent named Paz takes over the Metal Gear, threatening to use it on America and blame it on the MSF. However, she'll stop if Big Boss joins the Patriots again. Refusing to return to Zero, Big Boss destroys the Metal Gear. In the explosion, Paz presumably dies, but is later revealed that she miraculously survived. Unfortunately, she gets kidnapped by the XOF, another rogue CIA organization. The XOF used to do the Patriots' dirty work under Zero's command, but their leader, Skullface, grew to resent Zero and Big Boss for taking all the glory. Chico went back to save Paz, but he inevitably got captured by XOF as well. Skullface tortured both Paz and Chico to find the locations of Zero and Big Boss respectively. He sends Zero a pin laced with a debilitating disease that slowly destroys a person's cognitive functions, rendering them vegetative. In the years before Zero lost all function, he organises the creation of an AI network that would act as the Patriots moving forward. In Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, Big Boss mounts a rescue for Paz and Chico. Unfortunately, Skullface expected that to happen. In anticipation, he plants 2 bombs inside of Paz while preparing an attack on Mother Base. He sends some of his soldiers to plant C4 around Big Boss's base of operations and lay in wait for an ambush. Are you still with me? Okay, good. After Big Boss rescues Paz and Chico, he returns home only to find his base in flames. He's only able to save Miller and a single MSF soldier, while the rest die to either the explosions or direct gunfire from XOF forces. In the helicopter, a medic who's known as the best soldier in the MSF removes one of the bombs from Paz's body. When she regains consciousness, she reveals there's a second bomb inside her. She jumps out of the aircraft at the last second, but the force from the blast sends them into an XOF helicopter, and only Big Boss, Miller, and the medic survive. In Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Zero orchestrates a rescue mission for the 3 survivors. Ocelot takes care of Big Boss and the medic during their 9-year coma, and he reluctantly carries out Zero's plan to create another Big Boss. Through hypnotherapy and plastic surgery, Ocelot convinces the medic that he is actually Big Boss. This copy will continue the legacy of Big Boss as the real one recovers behind the scenes. Called Punished Venom Snake, this character leads the successor to the MSF, the Diamond Dogs. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Skullface plans to use a parasite that targets only English speakers to rid the world of the language entirely. He also has a nuclear-capable giant mech called Metal Gear Sahelanthropus under his command. What Skullface didn't expect, though, was betrayal. A child soldier with psychic powers named Trechi Rebenok defected from XOF, siding with a child soldier named Eli, who rebelled against the Diamond Dogs. These two would grow up to be Psycho Mantis and Liquid Snake. They take Sahelanthropus, but Venom Snake ends up destroying it. In the chaos, Skullface gets pinned under rubble, at which point Snake, Miller, and a scientist named Huey Emmerich end his life. We're finally now at the first game featuring Solid Snake, Metal Gear. The very first game ever produced in the franchise, Big Boss plays a dangerous game. On one hand, he's built a new military state in South Africa called Outer Heaven. The place houses his new equivalent of the MSF, and he has a nuclear deterrent called Metal Gear TX-55 that he uses as leverage to convince the world to treat soldiers as more than tools. On the other hand, Big Boss establishes an elite US Army task force called Foxhound. He sends one of its rookie operatives, Solid Snake, to Outer Heaven to rescue another operative named Grey Fox and destroy TX-55. However, Big Boss expected Snake to fail. Of course, Snake proves to be far more capable than he expected, considering who his clone father is. By the end of this game, Snake puts an end to TX-55, destroying it with plastic explosives. This sets off the base self-destruct sequence, but before Snake could escape, Big Boss reveals himself as the leader of Outer Heaven. Solid Snake subdues his former commanding officer, leaving him to die in the exploding base. However, it's later revealed that the Big Boss who died in Outer Heaven was actually Venom Snake, or the medic from The Phantom Pain. The real Big Boss sets up yet another military state in Central Asia called Zanzibar Land, where Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake takes place. Foxhound, now under the command of Colonel Roy Campbell, sends out Solid Snake once again, trusting him to infiltrate and destroy Zanzibar Land. This time, the stakes are raised. Big Boss has kidnapped a scientist who discovered a way to mass produce an oil alternative. He hopes to use his control over the valuable resource, along with a new nuclear-capable mech, as even more leverage against other countries, again in hopes to improve the treatment of soldiers around the world. Part of Snake's mission includes rescuing the scientist, but upon reaching his destination, all he found was a corpse. Moving forward, he obtained the formula for the oil alternative and faces down Metal Gear D, which was controlled by Grey Fox. Fox reveals he has always held allegiances to Big Boss, and he suffers horrible injuries after Snake destroys the mech. In the final showdown, Snake burns Big Boss alive using an improvised flamethrower and escapes Zanzibar. Solid Snake then deservedly retires from Foxhound. Tired of these nightmarish missions, he hides away in the Alaskan wilderness, hoping to spend the rest of his days there in peace. Meanwhile, the Patriots recover Big Boss's body, keeping him as alive as possible through cryogenic sleep and nanomachines. Snake made his PlayStation debut with Metal Gear Solid. Campbell pulls him out of retirement after a villain named Liquid Snake turned Foxhound into a renegade unit. Liquid secures Metal Gear Rex, a new nuclear mech. With all these resources at his disposal, Liquid declares war on America. Snake, also pulled out of retirement, infiltrates Shadow Moses in an effort to neutralize Foxhound. While there, he encounters all kinds of Foxhound operatives, including Psycho Mantis and Revolver Ocelot. The latter gets his arm cut off by a cyborg ninja. Snake also finds new allies in Shadow Moses, like Campbell's daughter Meryl. Additionally, he meets Hell Otacon Emmerich, a scientist who ends up becoming his best friend. Liquid Snake fools Solid Snake into activating Rex, and he uses it to try and kill the hero. Snake turns it on Liquid, however, and destroys the mech. In the wreckage, Liquid delivers a monologue, revealing that he is Snake's twin brother. Furthermore, he confirms to Snake that they are both clones of Big Boss, but Snake had the superior genes. In the end, Liquid ends up dying to a manufactured heart attack thanks to the Foxdie virus Snake was unknowingly carrying among his other nanomachines. In the final scene, Ocelot calls the president, revealing Liquid was actually the superior twin. He grafts Liquid's arm to his body, replacing his lost one. Furthermore, the new president reveals himself as Solid as Snake, the perfect clone of Big Boss. Now on to Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, which happens 4 years after the Shadow Moses incident. Foxhound recruit Raiden infiltrates an offshore facility named Big Shell, which was taken over by a terrorist group. The Big Shell incident was meant to cover up the creation of Arsenal Gear, a giant mobile fortress that could launch nukes anywhere while deploying mass-produced Metal Gear Ray units. Solidus, formerly a US president, orchestrated the event to challenge the Patriots, who at this point control pretty much everything in America. He flies Arsenal to New York City, using it as a distraction while he tries identifying the Patriots. His goal is to kill them and restore freedom to the people. Additionally, Ocelot tells Raiden about the S3 plan, the Solid Snake simulation. Raiden's mission was a deliberate recreation of Shadow Moses in order to make the ultimate soldier. Arsenal Gear crashes onto the streets of New York, atop which Raiden and Solidus fight each other. At that moment, Raiden gets a call from one of the Patriot AIs, who explains that the S3 plan is actually called the Selection for Societal Sanity. The entire incident was a test to see how the AI Patriots could control everything during a crisis. The Patriots actually hold Raiden's girlfriend hostage, goading him into killing Solidus. He slays the Big Boss clone, saving his girlfriend. Meanwhile, Snake gets his hands on the disc that identifies the Patriots, but he finds out they've all been dead for decades. Now set in 2014, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots puts players back in the shoes of Solid Snake, although he's now much older. Due to being a clone, he ages much faster than a normal person, and the game even calls him Old Snake. Everything has changed, with private military companies exploiting the war economy that plagues the world. Ocelot, who is now being controlled by Liquid courtesy of the arm transplant, owns the 5 largest PMCs. He brings them together to fight the Patriots. However, nanomachines have come a long way since the Shadow Moses incident. The newest ones, embedded in every soldier on the planet, suppressed symptoms of PTSD and improved everyone's combat awareness. These 3rd generation nanomachines, called the Sons of the Patriot system, could be accessed by the Patriots. This means that with the drop of a hat, the Patriot AIs could cripple every soldier on the planet. Liquid knows this, and he tries shutting down the nanomachines in his soldiers through various tests. Colonel Campbell, who had retired after Shadow Moses, pulls Snake out of retirement once again. The hero chases Liquid across the globe, witnessing the results of his different experiments. In most cases, shutting down the nanomachines led to immediate brain damage and trauma. Fed up, Liquid then obtains Solidus's DNA, which he thought was Big Boss's DNA. With it, he gains direct control of the SOP system, renaming it the Guns of the Patriots. Liquid steals an Arsenal Gear-like ship from the Patriots and calls it Outer Haven. He outfits it with a Metal Gear Rex railgun. Also aboard the warship is GW, one of the Patriots' AI systems. He hopes to use the railgun to destroy the Patriots' main AI core, named JD, and then take control of the Patriots' entire network via GW. Thanks to the help of some scientists, Snake obtains a computer virus called Fox Alive, which can destroy the SOP system. He infiltrates Outer Haven and uploads the worm to GW. In an unexpected turn, the virus goes beyond destroying SOP and affects the entire Patriots AI network, severing their control over everything in America. Snake and Liquid have their final fistfight in which Ocelot, who Liquid is possessing, starts showing more of himself. He reveals that his whole goal was for Snake to destroy the Patriots, starting his entire insurrection to draw attention to himself. After the fight concludes, Ocelot collapses and succumbs to his wounds. After the credits roll, Snake finds himself at Big Boss's grave, about to commit suicide. At the last second, he doesn't go through with it, at which point Big Boss reveals himself, approaching carrying his mentor's gun. Alongside him is a vegetative Zero in a wheelchair. Big Boss then pulls the plug on Zero and reconciles with Snake, telling him it's time to put aside the gun and live. So that's pretty much it, guys. Obviously, there is so much more to it than the things summarized here, but we wanted to try and summarize the story as briefly as we could to just try and help you get your head around it. I still thoroughly suggest playing through the entire series of Metal Gear games. They are absolutely fantastic and, in my opinion, probably the best games ever made. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more gaming lore videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and I will see you next time on Explore.